Hi everyone, welcome to our first lesson on virtual field trips. So I'm seeing in the comments that a lot of us don't have a lot of experience with virtual field trips. So hopefully I can go over the basics here, and then if you have questions, by all means, you can definitely ask. So I want to show you a few things. The first thing that I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about what a virtual field trip is and the different types of virtual field trips. So those who teach elementary, you've probably received emails before from Scholastic, or maybe you've seen other people in your buildings do this. But basically, Scholastic does a virtual field trip. And what they do is they'll send you a link, and then you can watch something live at the time that it's happening. So, for example, a couple of years ago, they had a virtual field trip to the Plymouth Plantation. So you got to see firsthand all of these things that were happening there, and it was live. However, there was no interactivity. The kids, there were multiple classrooms, hundreds of classrooms around the world viewing this at the same exact time. So there was no questioning. You really didn't have that experience. You got to see firsthand, but you really didn't have to have a conversation with those who are putting it on. With that being said, the virtual field trips that I'm going to show in here, they're more one-on-one. So it's your classroom connecting with somebody else. It could be a museum, it could be a scientist, it could be a professional in that field. With that being said, that's really what I want to demonstrate in this course is that level of interactivity where your kids are engaged in something and they're having a conversation with a professional outside of the classroom, just like an actual field trip that you may go on. Okay, with that being said, let me show you a couple of the things that I think you probably will need. So one of the things, obviously, the first thing that you'll probably need is a webcam. I'll talk about a couple of things here. So first of all, if you have a hover cam or a document camera in your classroom, that could be an option. You may be able to use that. You definitely want to check with your tech department to see if that's something that you could do. In my classroom, we have this one right here. Okay, so this is the webcam that I have that's $61.99. The district did purchase it for me. The reason that I like this one compared to some of these others, actually this one is widescreen too, but the widescreen is definitely a must, especially with for use in a classroom. You want to make sure that you have that wide angle so they can see your entire class as you're talking to them, whoever that person is on the other end. So you definitely want to have that widescreen angle. Now, the other thing that I will talk a little bit more about is this. So for the virtual field trips that we use in our classroom and the ones that we're going to have most of our conversation about, it is going to be using Skype. You definitely want to probably, I would say, download the Skype browser or the Skype software onto your computer, and again, you'll probably have to have the technology department at your schools do that for you. It did take us a little work to get it because initially it was blocked at our school, but once we discussed and we had a conversation about what we were going to use it for, it was quickly unblocked. So there was no issues, and it just took a couple days for them to unblock it after we had that conversation. So Skype is definitely going to be your way to go. All of Skype is a Microsoft program now. So Microsoft did purchase Skype a few years ago. With that being said, this is kind of where we are now. So let me take you on a tour here. So this is where you're going to get started. This is going to be where you're going to find all your virtual field trips. So the website for this, you can see up here, it's education.microsoft.com. Okay, education.microsoft.com, and if you have a 365 account, which I'm hoping you do, that was a prerequisite for the course. You can log into here with your school username and password. So when you first log in, it's going to be right over here on this side. It's going to say sign in. It's going to ask you how you want to sign in. I'm assuming most of us have Office 365, so you wanna sign in with 365 accounts. Once you do that, you see what I see here on my screen. You're going to have the same exact things here. So over on the left-hand side, these are basically all the things that are offered through Microsoft, and these come with your package. So there's nothing additional that you need to add on. There's nothing additional that your district has to purchase. As long as you guys have an Office 365 account, then you'll be good to go. With that being said, the first place that I'm going to take you over here, and feel free to browse around because there's a lot of great information inside of here. But the one place that we're going to go is Skype in the classroom. Okay, so I'm going to click on Skype in the classroom, and this is going to lead us into our next piece here. So there's a few different things that you can do. So Skype in the classroom, this is the program that Microsoft has set up, and you can tell they've put a lot of time and effort into this for us. There's a few different things that you can do. So if you scroll down just a little bit after you go to Skype in the classroom, you'll see that there's a few different options here. Okay, so it says 5 exciting ways to bring the world into your classroom. These are all the ways that you can connect with those professionals and with museums and with zoos to have a virtual field trip. So there's 5 different options. Virtual field trips, which is definitely the one that we'll have more conversation about. Skype lessons, that one is really going to be more a one-on-one lesson, more of a lecture. Skype collaborations, this one is going to be like a classroom to classroom experience where maybe you're just connecting with another classroom. Mystery Skype, this is probably, I haven't tried this yet, but this is one that you can set yourself inside of your account, which we'll get to later. You can set yourself up for Mystery Skype, which would mean that you leave yourself open. You could say, okay, I'm going to be available Thursday afternoon from, let's say, 2 to 3. At that time, a different classroom from across the world could call you. It could be in the United States somewhere. It could be somewhere else in a different country. But all of these people are teachers, and you do need a school account to do it. So it's not just like you're going to get a call from some random person. It will be a mystery, but it's going to be another classroom from around the world. And then guest speakers. And again, that's more of, you just have someone that you already have in mind that you want to have speak to your class. So virtual field trips is the one that we're going to be focusing on during this time. We may look at the other ones a little bit later on, but virtual field trips is where we're going to start. So virtual field trips, once you go in here, there is a video. So if you want to explore this a little bit on your own, you can do that. So once we scroll down a bit, you're going to see that there's just a bunch of little thumbnails. And these thumbnails, these are the virtual field trips. Let me click on one. Actually, let me scroll down a bit here. So Oceans Month. So every month they have a new variety, some new virtual field trips that are offered based on a certain theme. So this month it's Oceans Month collection. So all of these virtual field trips that you could set up are to a certain place, and they all have something to do with oceans. Animals, there's a ton here. And notice there is a little more button over here. If you click there, there's going to be literally hundreds of different virtual field trips. Ecology and conservation, history and culture, other subjects there as well. You also have the option here to filter. So if you want to filter by age group, so it doesn't give you a grade level, but it gives you more of a an age range. Subject, so if you want to sort by subject. Skype availability, you could type in a date if you have a specific date in mind. So maybe you don't have a topic in mind, but you have a date that you want to see what's available on that date. You could do that. And then the rest here are pretty self-explanatory. So with that being said, let me just click on, let's just click on Journey to Aquarius. So once you click on one that you like, one that you find that you think your class would fit in with your curriculum, you're going to go in. It's going to give you a little bit more information about that virtual field trip. It tells you how many people are interested. There is a place here down here somewhere where it tells you how many people have done this as well. So you could do register for this virtual field trip. So I'm going to click here. This one is a little different. So I'm going to show you 2 different types here. So this one, it's saying that you need to request a session. So you just need to type in, and it tells you there what to type in. So it tells you the age of your students, what are you excited about? Is there anything special you should know? And then you're also going to just give them some dates that may work for you. So this is one way that you could request a virtual field trip. Now, they are very good about getting back to you. Everybody on here, Microsoft, basically, they give them a contract and they say, hey, this is the contract. You want to belong to this, then you need to make sure that you follow our rules with it as well. So they have to get back to you within a certain amount of time. Once they message you back, so if you do send them a message, they'll send you a message back, and you'll see that in the messages tab right up here at the top. Okay. Now there's a different type of virtual field trip that we can do as well. So the other type that we can do is, let me see if I can get back here. The other type of virtual field trip that we can do is going to give us, let me see if I can find it here. Hopefully this one gives us a calendar. So let's see, let me see if this one does that. So You'll be able to choose the date on a calendar. This is perfect. Yes. Okay. So a lot of the virtual field trips that you'll see, it gives you a calendar and it tells you when they're available. So, for example, this one, this is the May calendar, and then you have the June calendar. You can click on the date, and then you can also click on the time that you're looking for as well. Now, the only thing that's a little tricky about this is that you have different time zones. So we did a virtual field trip with a penguin sanctuary in South Africa, and when we did that, the time was, I think, 6 or 7 hours off. So you just have to kind of keep that in mind, and it does get a little tricky to try to schedule these in, but it does work. So just make sure you take a look at your time zone and their time zone, and it does tell you. The nice thing about Microsoft, it does tell you here in this list the time. It tells your time, so it'll say the Eastern Standard Time that the trip is taking place. But just kind of keep that in mind because it does get a little confusing at sometimes. So with that being said, you're going to click the date that you're interested in, and then click the time that you're interested in, and then at the bottom down here you can add a message if you want to. You don't need to, and then you can go ahead and you can request the session. So that is another way that you could, like I said, you could request a session virtual field trip. So there's literally hundreds of virtual field trips in here, and they're always adding new ones. Typically, the brand new ones, after you're on here for a little while, at the very top, they're going to give you the newest ones. You always want to be looking for those newest ones because they do go fast, especially the really good ones. The Turtle Hospital has been booked up a lot this year. Their space is very limited. So you want to, I mean, if you're, you want to go in here a couple times a week to see if there's anything new added, you want to jump on those quickly. So these are the virtual field trips that I would suggest that you take a look at. And what I would like you to do is this. For this assignment, take a look at the virtual field trips, get logged in, take a look around there. And then from there, let's have a conversation about what you found, which ones you're interested in, and we'll go from there. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know. We'll have that open discussion in our on our page. On our Schoology page. So if you have any questions, please let me know. This weekend, when I post a new lesson, we'll talk a little bit more about what to expect once you find one. Now what? What do you do with your kids? How do you set it up? What activities are you going to do based on that virtual field trip? All right. Thanks so much.